As we take a look at Judges chapter 16, we find something interesting, that when Samson is captured, the Philistines pluck out his eyes. And it reminds me of something that Jesus said in the Gospels, that if your eye is causing you to sin, you should pluck it out. Now, obviously, Jesus does not mean this in the literal sense, but he's highlighting the level of holiness you need to have, the level of adherence to the law that you need to have in order to get into heaven, and that by yourself it's impossible. Now, with Samson, we find that by himself, his own strength was not sufficient, that he needed God's strength to get him out of every situation that he got himself into. Every time he's dealing with the Philistines in this section of the story, it's because he's serving an idol instead of God. He's serving sex. He's serving Delilah. This isn't his wife. She's a prostitute. And this is a prostitute who is using her relationship with him to her advantage, not just for money, but for the sake of gaining power over him. At the time, Samson was the most powerful person in that area, next to God himself. And Samson was just a representative of God's power working in people's lives. But his downfall was his idol. And only the source of his strength, returning, the Holy Spirit, gave him ultimate victory, even in death. But while that is the case for us as Christians, we also have to be aware of God's desire to prune our lives. God desired to prune Samson's life, and because of his stubbornness and because of his pride and because of his idolatry, we find that it wasn't until the very end of his life that Samson allowed God to prune him. And so my question for you today is, how will you allow God to prune your lives? Thank you guys. Have a good day.